Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today. I just wanted to talk about hiding places for contraband, something that some people take for granted. And I understand with the staff shortages and all the details we have to do and things that are going on in today's corrections, it's very hard to find the time to do our cell searches and routine pat downs and shakedowns. But it's a necessary evil, and we have to find a way to do it. So I'm going to go A through Z on places that inmates hide contraband. Many of you already know this. I understand that. But you do have to realize that many officers don't know and are not that great at hunting contraband. And I say that in a nice way because some people are just better than others at sensing what inmates are up to, sensing where inmates are hiding their contraband just by watching them for a couple of days and seeing how they move around in the dorm or on the rec yard. So if you're alert and you're a corrections person that has learned the ways of the inmates and their mannerisms and their movements on the compound and in the dorm, you're going to know these already. But hey folks, remember this, we have some folks that need to learn how to find contraband and do a better job at it. And we also have some that don't even want to search for contraband. And I'm sorry that that's a true fact, but we need to get everybody on board because finding contraband and getting rid of it saves lives and keeps people from being injured. So I'm going to go A through Z, and with prison hotspots for contraband. I made a list. I just sat down and wrote it all out in my mind real quick in my chair, and I'm going to read them out to you. A, the anal cavity. Yes, I said it. I just said it. For men, it's called a suitcase. And for female inmates, it's called a prison purse. And you get what I'm saying. Now, of course, we can't go in there as a correctional officer and search body cavities. But if we suspect that an inmate has placed contraband, drugs, or anything else inside a body cavity, we can move them to a single cell with no toilet and just give them a bucket, put a one-on-one on them if we can, and sooner or later they're going to have to use the restroom. And sooner or later that contraband is going to come out. We have other options as well. Please follow your policies and procedures on this. You can get a hold of the legal team and follow your policies and procedures, and we can get a medical doctor and have them search the body cavity for contraband if you have pretty good evidence, solid lead. Follow your policy and procedure. That's all I can say on that one. Every state is different. Every legal team is different. So the safe way is put them in a cell, give them a bucket, and wait till they drop it. Or if you think you need to get it now because it's sensitive to the safety and security of the institution, get a hold of your policies and procedures and get the legal team going on it and get permission to get a medical doctor to search for it. B, bed mattresses, books, basketballs, etc. All of the B's are highly used still today. 50 years ago and today in 2021, books, the bindings of books, bed mattresses is something that inmates know that officers go for the bed mattress first, but they still continue to hide things in there because they feel they're smarter than us. They'll sew hidden compartments in the bed mattress, in the corners and the lining and the hard lining, and they'll think you're not going to find the contraband. And if you don't search the mattress very thoroughly, you won't find the contraband. Lots of times the bed mattress is used for what I call softer contraband. Maybe some letters they don't want you to see, or stamps that they stole from somebody, pictures, they're allowed so many pictures in their property, so maybe they're hiding extra pictures. Every now and then you'll find some drugs in the mattress as well, and we have, and we will continue to find it. Just don't forget that the bed mattress may be in plain sight, common area, but that's where many times the contraband is hidden. And books, still used highly today. Basketballs, just had a case this year where a basketball was used by inmates at the gymnasium, and they found a way to get drugs inside of it and inflate the basketball back up, and you think you've got a regular basketball, and inside they hid their drugs in there. C, well, for cells, inmate cells. Well, there are 1,000 places inside of a cell. So just be careful that when you're searching the cell, you have a game plan and you know how to break it into quarters or whatever system you want to use, and search everything in the cell methodically, and you will find something, whether it's hard contraband like drugs, weapons, things like that, or soft contraband. We have to get it all out of there. Also for C, the canteen, the inmate canteen. If you have a canteen operator willing to work with the other inmates, there's endless possibilities in the canteen, inside cookies, inside a food carton, inside Sweetie Golds, and the canteen operator can put that item kind of on the back burner, and he knows or she knows which one that is, and they won't sell that one out to the inmates on the compound. They'll keep that one in the back. Coffee packets is another big one for C. Coffee packets, inmates like to hide things in there because they believe also that if you ever bring the canine in, they believe the coffee will distract or keep the canine from hitting on the coffee packet. So remember all these things, folks. The entire prison is a hiding place. You just have to remember which areas to look at, and look at it hard and visualize ideas that inmates can come up with to hide contraband. Dust mops with hollow tube handles. We still have those going on. I know Corrections 1 is advertising all plastic now, rubber. So it's not hollow inside. They're all rubber items, so you can't hide contraband in it. You can take dust mops that have hollow tubes that are still being used in some prisons, pop the cap off, drop your stuff in there, close it, and you can be doing your work as a dorm orderly or trustee or whatever, and carrying your drugs right with you in the dust mop. And also day rooms. Now, day rooms are mostly, if they hide something there, they'll be soft contraband. It won't be, heavy weapons or drugs in most cases. An inmate may hide a razor blade under the TV, behind the TV. Day room is not the best hiding place, but don't leave it out, folks. Don't think, this is a day room. They're not going to hide anything in here because there's inmates in here constantly. They'll lose their contraband. Well, they'll hide soft contraband in there. You just never know. You never ever know. F is for floor tiles. When you're searching a cell or anywhere in the prison, walk around and look at the floor tiles. I don't know, some are solid concrete, some are tiles. Whatever it is, the floor can be a hiding place. They can chip out a piece of concrete, put their contraband in there, and then get a piece of cardboard and paint it gray, put it over the hole, and if you're not observant, you'll never see the area where the contraband is hidden. So watch for the floors. Walk around, look under the bed at the floors, look behind the bed at the bunk at the floors. Check it thoroughly, okay? They know how to chip pieces of concrete out and hide things. They know how to chip pieces of tile out. Watch for those things. G is for grates. Air ducts coming in from places. There's a grate there. I don't have one in my camera sight right now, but grates of any kind are super good hiding places. They like to pop that grate off if they can, and then they're not going to just lay something right there inside the grate. they are going to put it up on top as far back as they can reach, or back on the sides. They're going to camouflage it, so you don't just pop a grate off and look and say, I don't see anything, and close it. Get some type of instrument, wear your gloves, so you, and don't grab things with your hands, and poke around with a flashlight and an instrument, and poke around in there and make sure they didn't hide anything. That could be the place where the shank is that could be used on you. That could be the place where a homemade zip gun is, or even a real gun that's been smuggled in, and we know that happens. Be vigilant in your searches, and don't half-ass your searches. H, hygiene items, blades and bars of soap. They'll get that razor blade down in a bar of soap, and then they'll take it and wet the bar of soap, smooth it out and get it all smooth, set the bar of soap down. It looks perfectly fine, and inside the bar of soap is a razor, things like that. You know, anything hygiene item can be used. Toothpaste, petroleum jelly, hair shampoos, anything. Got to look inside those things. Got to feel in. Have an instrument that you can get down in there with. Again, don't poke your hand down in these things, okay? Check their coffee packets if they're open. Check their coffee packets to see if there's any sign of being open and then taped shut or glued shut. They might have something in them. I is for incident report. Why is an incident report important when finding contraband? We must keep track of what inmates are doing what. If it's a soft contraband like 3 extra photos, your supervisor will probably just say, confiscate the photos and put them in property, no incident report needed, right? We know that happens. But for hard contraband, razor blades, drugs, weapons, pharmaceutical pills they're not supposed to have, anything like that, we need to get an incident report. We have to keep track of this inmate's actions, and how's the best way to keep track? Let's write it on an incident report, and then when we catch the inmate for the 3rd or 4th time, it will work to help us give the inmate, 90, 120 days, 30 days, or whatever, disciplinary confinement. But another important thing is drugs and things of this nature fall under criminal activity. So if we do want to have it investigated, send the report to the state attorney. The state attorney loves to have a history of the inmate's contraband that has been found on this inmate over a period of time. It helps prove the case that the inmate is involved in criminal activity with prison contraband. So when you write that incident report, think outside the box about how far we can go with that incident report and where it may take us. May end up in a courtroom testifying to what you found in that inmate's property. That's what we need to do, right? We can do our administrative punishment, but we need to do criminal charges when we can as well. J is for justice served, what I just talked about. 30 to 90 days disciplinary confinement or criminal charges, new charges added. I for incident report, J for justice served. We have to take care of these things and send a message out that we mean business and we're going to find your contraband and we're coming for it, right? We need them to know that. Keeps them on their toes, keeps them alert. Okay, they may think of a better hiding place, but we're going to figure it out. That's why we're doing videos like this. Educate ourselves to learn, and I want to hear from you out there of hiding places that you discovered that are not on my list today, and I know there's a lot of them, and I'd love to hear them. K is for kitchen. Under the washers, under the sinks, in the freezer rooms. Boy, I've had cases where they're hiding it in the freezer, in a box with food back there. No, just an unbelievable amount of places in the kitchen that contraband can be hidden. L is for lawnmowers. Lawnmowers. all the tools that the outside squad works with. They'll hide drugs up under the lawnmower, way back up in the corner, and hide it there. And we've even had lawnmowers coming from the outside perimeter back onto the compound with the outside work squad. And you need to be aware that they may be picking up drugs from family or visitors, family or friends that are throwing these packets of drugs in the woods, and they can hide a tiny packet up in the corner of the lawnmower and drive right through. That's why we need to check every lawnmower when it comes back through the gate, right? That's another hiding spot. Mail. M is for mail. Regular mail. Now this is tough when you have to really look hard. You know how they're soaking these stamps now, and we take the stamps off, of course, before we give it to them now, hopefully. A lot of places are going to electronic mail, so we don't have to deal with this anymore, but we are still dealing with regular paper mail in a lot of jails and prisons across the country. Not everybody's gone to the electronic mail. So mail can have drugs within it. You have to watch for any irregularities, hold it to the light, look at it with a magnifying glass, whatever you need to do. Legal mail. Okay, right, we can't read it. But what you can do is open the legal mail in front of the inmate and say, all right, I'm going to hand you your legal mail one piece at a time. You're looking at it, and you can hand the inmate one piece at a time. They're going to complain, hey, you're looking at my legal. No, I'm not looking at your legal mail. I am making sure there's no contraband in your legal mail. I could care less what's in your legal mail as far as the writing here. Take it. You know, I'm not reading it. Because, you know, inmates will try to use any excuse for you not to look at that legal mail. And the more they want you not to look at their legal mail, the more you might want to think, maybe there's something up with this legal mail. You can check into the address where it was sent from. Is it a real attorney? Is it a fake attorney? Call the attorney. Hey, did you send inmate Jones a packet on this date? It's this thick or whatever. And they say, no, I did not. Uh-oh. Somebody's using an attorney's address for fake legal mail. There's all kinds of tricks and trades that we have to pay attention to. N is for nooks and cracks. Look for missing blocks. Look at the windowsills. Again, just like the floor, they can chip out areas of the windowsill, store their cell phone in there, store their drugs in there, get a piece of cardboard and cover it up, fill it in with whatever they need to fill it in with, cover it up, paint it the same color. You could check that cell for 2 months and never realize that that windowsill has drugs hidden in it. Again, get you a poking device. Poke along. Oop, went all the way through. What is this? Pop it open. Oh, it's cardboard. And there's your contraband. Got to be diligent. Got to think outside the box when searching for contraband. O is for orderly details all over the prison. In a jail, it's trustees. In a prison, it's inmate orderlies. There we go back to some of the tools they work with for cleaning. They could be hiding their drugs in there. They could be up at the administrative building, cleaning the warden's office, and hiding something right there in the administrative building, and laughing the whole time, telling another inmate, I had my stuff up at admin. No big deal. They just walk right by it. I laugh. Sometimes they're standing right next to it. Happens, folks. It happens. Don't think it doesn't. P, petroleum jelly. Always check it. Favorite hiding place. They think, who's going to stick their hands down in there? Well, you're not. You're going to take an instrument and swish it around in there. See if you make contact with any object that should not be in that petroleum jelly. P is also for pockets. Hey, are we checking the common areas? Did you know that many inmates just carry their drugs right in their pockets during the daytime because they feel that the institution is weak on doing routine pat searches? They know there's staff shortage. Inmates know that. They're not going to search me. I feel better having my drugs on me during the day, and at night I'll put them in my hideaway spot. Just common areas, folks. Q, I put question yourself daily. Are you doing your part Are you doing your part to watch how inmates are acting, to see if they give you any indication that they're up to something? That's how you catch inmates. I remember when I left the prison system, went to the jail, I was watching the inmates, and I told my partner, hey, that inmate just put something in that cell, and let's go watch it. We had the civilian DSS run the board for us, you know, open the cell doors and such. And we went up there and found contraband. A lot of finding contraband is being alert and observant and watching what the inmates are doing. They'll do silly, stupid things sometimes that will tell you right where they put that contraband. I remember my partner, Beverly McCall, used to call me Snoop Dogg. And Sergeant Kevin Marshall always used to grab me up when we would do our cell searches that needed to be done, 2 a day, and we'd go pick a dorm. Andrew Hertel, Master Deputy, who trained me when I first got to the jail from the prison, all those guys know that. They're probably laughing right now if they're watching. But I kind of like the name Snoop Dogg. I was okay with that. You know, I've been called a lot of other things, so Snoop Dogg was a very nice thing to be called. Our recreation yards. Oh my gosh, everybody knows how that can be. You know, we have Geiger counters and metal detectors and all kinds of things that we use on the recreation field to try to find shanks and homemade weapons and take that metal detector. And it works. Lots of times the crew will come back and say, hey, I found 4 shanks. Probably 100 more out there to go with it, but we found 4 today. Good job. They bury them in the ground under the dirt. They hide them under the plants everywhere. Watch the recreation yard and watch how the inmates act. If you're out there watching the rec yard, you'll see if there's any suspicious activity by a certain inmate looking. They're not all great at covering up their suspicious activity. That's why they're in prison, right? S for shoes and soles. Well, another old one, right? An oldie but a goodie, because they still do it. They still use shoes and the soles of their shoes for hiding places for decades. From the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, right on up to 2021, the shoes and the soles are a great hiding place for inmates. How about the stomach? Yeah, the stomach. S for stomach. Maybe at visitation, they swallow 2 or 3 balloons. And they go back into the compound, hoping that the balloons don't burst in their stomach with heroin or marijuana or whatever's in there, cocaine, make them sick or kill them. That's the crazy risk they take. And then they go to the bathroom and get their balloons out, wash them, and they have their drugs. Same thing if we suspect they swallow balloons at the visitation park, we can put them in a cell with a bucket, and sooner or later what goes in must come out. Also for S, how about the showers? Loose tiles in the showers, behind the shower head, anywhere. Inmates will use the showers. They figure that's one of the least places we'll look. We have to make sure it's one of the 100,000 places we do look. And it seems like we have 100,000 hiding places, right? T, toilets. You know, behind the toilets, up inside the toilet, under the rims, everywhere in the toilet. I mean, you have to get your mirror and look around that toilet rim and behind it and feel for loose tiles around the toilet. Lots of times around toilets, it's easier for them to get the flooring chipped away or lift up a tile if that's what you have and put things in there. U, under the fire extinguisher. Again, the old thing, common area. Inmates have said, you know, that they've put things in areas and the officers are standing right next to it. They'll lift up that fire extinguisher and put something under there and put it back down, knowing that the fire extinguisher gets inspected every month. But what's on the fire extinguisher? A tag that says, just inspected, good till next month, this date. So they know that unless there's a fire, that fire extinguisher won't be checked again for another month. So they have a month to hide something under there. See? Think outside the box. Fire extinguishers underneath. Common area again. V, vagina. Yes, I said it. I said the word. Okay? the female purse for contraband, okay? Using the body cavities again, and this is also a biggie. Well, both the anal cavity and the vaginal cavity are both also used by visitors. So smuggling drugs into the prison are used in this method, and keeping the drugs hidden once in the prison are used in this method. And go back to A on what we can do when we suspect body cavity activity being utilized for hiding drugs. W, waistbands of clothing. You know, inmates like to sleep with their contraband if they can. And numerous times we've found drugs in waistbands of the underwear of inmates, maybe in their pants as well. But we've pulled some surprise visits on cases I've had that we suspected drugs, and got the inmates out of their bunk at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and found marijuana in the waistband of their underwear, things like that, because they feel safer at night sleeping with it in some cases, because they're worried other inmates are going to steal it, or they don't trust their cellmate, or whatever the case may be. Just remember, clothing, you know, for female inmates, sewn in compartments in the bras, etc. Check all those things. X is for X-ray. If you have a body scan machine at your facility, use it, folks. Use it. It does come in handy. If you suspect an inmate of something, carrying something, put them through the body scan machine. If they're coming from outside work, put them through the body scan machine. If they're going out for transport, put them through the body scan machine. If they're coming in from transport, put them through the body scan machine. If you're fortunate enough to have one, it will detect things inside their body cavities and their stomach as well. Y is for yard. I did say recreation yard for R, but under Y I'm going to add yard, benches, and bleachers, and fence areas. All along the fence areas, as close as they can get, they could hide contraband. Under benches, and so forth. Check it all. Bleachers. Under the bleachers, if the bleachers have those like an indent on the inside, even if it's that much, they can hide it up under there. Check all those outside benches and bleachers and fence lines periodically, and clockwise and counterclockwise. And Z, to end this, be zestful in your contraband searches. Be diligent and have energy doing your contraband searches, because you will be protecting the safety and security of the institution, possibly saving a person's life, inmate or staff, and you're doing your part to control contraband at your prison or jail. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe. Gary York, True Prison Stories.